What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first ever episode of the 202 Show, the show that covers sports, TV, music, movies, pop culture, comic books, and more. I'm your host, Ryan Saber, currently quarantined in Mansfield, Massachusetts, and let me start out by introducing our co-host. So, currently quarantined and streaming in Long Island, New York, we got the current station manager of Lasell College Radio, Mr. Matthew Berentsen.
What's up?
Currently streaming in Waltham, Massachusetts, and the former Radio 200 director of Lasell College Radio, Mr. Sean Corcoran.
Hola.
And streaming from Framingham, Massachusetts, the former production manager of Lasell Radio, Mr. Andrew. I wanted to start the show off by talking about something that I think has been talked about a lot by people in New England. Of course, with three of us being from Massachusetts and one of us being from New York and passionately hating New England sports. And of course, me being and growing up 10 minutes from Gillette Stadium, I could safe say that three of us are crazy diehard Patriots fans and have been talking about and thinking about Tom Brady pretty much every day since the season ended.
Well, it's kind of hard to avoid it.
It is kind of hard to avoid it, considering it's on every sports website, every sports
show,
sports talk show, sports radio, sports TV, Twitter, Instagram. Tom's posting stuff. The Bucks are posting stuff. The Patriots are posting stuff on Bill's behalf, which has never happened before, but that's really fine. But the one thing I feel like gets avoided and lost in all this is the fact that, yes, Tom Brady's going to Tampa Bay, and they have all these crazy weapons, and Tampa Bay is a great place for Tom Brady to be. And I feel like it's just now people are starting to discuss, well, Tom is in a new place. How do you actually think Tom's going to do? First of all, what kind of numbers is he going to put up? Because he does have some crazy weapons, but also, is Tampa Bay ready to win big-time games? Does Tampa Bay become the favorite in the NFC South now? Do the Bucks become a heavy NFC favorite to go to the Super Bowl potentially? Sean, let's start with you. What do you see in Brady's immediate future with Tampa?
Well, they're definitely going to be a lot better than they were last year. I can tell you that much. There won't be a 30-30 season going on in Tampa this year. At least I hope there isn't. I think Tampa's definitely improved a lot, but I think it's way too early to say that they're the favorites to win the South. You still got New Orleans and Drew Brees, who's still down there, and you still got Michael Thomas on the Saints and all those guys. So I think at least Tampa might make the postseason, or they'll definitely make a run, but I think it's a little too early to say they'll be the favorites.
And I agree. And you mentioned the New Orleans Saints and what the New Orleans Saints have, but you also can't forget about the Atlanta Falcons, too.
Yeah, exactly. Matt Ryan
and Julio Jones are still there.
Yep.
Greenblatt, what about you?
I think they're good. I mean, they have a great wide receiver core. And the NFC South is now a tough division. It's a tough division, in my opinion.
Matt?
I think if anything is going to make things a little bit more fun. I mean, one of my biggest complaints ever about the New England Patriots is that it always made football kind of boring. To get some real stir up in, I think, all the divisions now, this is a huge shift. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch.
Okay, it pains me to say this being from New England, but it being where I am in the heart of Patriots country. But I almost agree with you that it's wow, we've had the exact same meal on our plate for the last 20 years. We've had the exact same program going into the season that we have for the last 20 years. And it's not just Tom Brady, but even with it's the offense in its entirety. Because even though we've swapped in offensive coordinators and different quarterbacks coaches, we started out with Charlie Weiss, and we go to Josh McDaniels, then we get Billy O, then we go back to Josh McDaniels. It's been more or less the same offense this entire time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very interested to see how it all plays out, but I also want to see what Tom can do with another system. And I think that's what's going to be the biggest question is, can Tom get it done in a tougher division? Because there's absolutely no doubt that the NFC South is tougher than the AFC East. You're talking about questionably 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. One's a no-brainer. One's I think Matt Ryan has a solid chance.
Yeah.
And Carolina has
a
strong team. They have a new young head coach, and they have Teddy Bridgewater, who I like more than Cam.
Oh, yeah.
So I think Tom has a lot of things going for him, on top of the fact that I think it's a well-run organization that just couldn't get the quarterback right. You know what I mean? This is a good team that's traditionally had Brad Johnson, Jeff Garcia, Josh Freeman, and Jameis Winston. And I'm blanking on who they had in the mid-2000s. They had Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I was about to say, Fitzpatrick.
Over the past 20 years, your best quarterback has been Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think you have something wrong. And I think that something wrong is what Tom Brady is going to come in and fix. And it's a culture thing. So I want to switch over very quickly to one of the other teams in football in Florida. There are a lot of other teams in football, but there's 2 other teams in Florida. I want to switch over to one of the other teams in Florida, and that being the Miami Dolphins. Now, there's been a rumor this past week, I maybe going on 2 weeks, but I think it's mainly been out there for a week, that the Miami Dolphins, who have 3 first-round picks, want to trade up to number 1 with Cincinnati Bengals and assumingly take LSU quarterback Joe Burrow. Now, I have a couple thoughts about this, but I want to get to you guys first. First of all, one, is it really worth it to move forward when you could probably get Tua Tagovailoa at 5? And 2, is Joe Burrow actually worth moving up to number 1 for? Greenblatt, let's start with you on this one. What are your thoughts?
I don't watch a lot of college football, but I watched a lot of it. I watched some of it this year. I've been starting to get more into it. Joe Burrow, he's got a hell of an arm. I mean, he was the reason why LSU won that game, like the championship game. They're an amazing team.
But how much of that team did you feel? Because they had a stacked roster. You have Justin Jefferson, who's his number 1 receiver, who's probably going to go in the top 20 this year.
Probably.
How much do you feel like was the roster versus Joe Burrow himself? And can he carry a Miami team that, even though
not with that Miami team. No, they don't. The only wide receiver they have is Devontae Parker.
Okay, Sean, what do you think?
I agree with Greenblatt. They definitely need They need more wide receivers. They just need a lot of things done. They need They need a lot of help. But say the team actually has like better rosters compared to, let's say they have something similar to New England or a little bit better. I feel like Burrow could do. I wouldn't say my thing with Burrow is I think he could be a pretty good quarterback in the NFL. I just don't think he'll be like the next, I don't know, Cam Newton was 5 years ago. I don't know if he'll ever get that good, but I think he'll be a good, solid quarterback, play like 10, 15 years in the NFL potentially.
Me, I see Matt Ryan more than I see Drew Brees. You know what I mean? I think he's in high B, low A quarterback. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, as far as Miami goes, they don't seem immediately fixable, if that makes any sense. Like, they're a team that's going to have to definitely take some time. So I don't think
got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, so any move that they make this season, this offseason and going into the draft, I don't think it's going to fix anything when it comes to them. Not counting them out completely, depending on where they decide to go with that. But I think as of
the Dolphins have realistically been one of the Dolphins have realistically been one of the most aggressive teams in free agency this last year, and it's like not even close.
Oh, absolutely. They'll literally go after anybody just to whether they stick or not, it's another story. But they're pretty aggressive.
The Dolphins have picked up Kyle Van Noy, who, in my opinion, could have been All-Pro last year for the Patriots. Maybe that's a little bit of homer in me. Maybe
I kind of thought I was kind of surprised he didn't either, or at least more talk about it. But yeah, I don't think you're out of the realm.
You pick up Byron Jones, who has been a Pro Bowler and a very stud athlete, versus a lockdown man-to-man corner. He's a great zone player. He's a great, just natural athlete. I'm trying to think of a comp, but he doesn't need a comp because he's in the league now.
Exactly.
Yeah. You pick up a great defensive back in Byron Jones. You pick up a great linebacker in Kyle Van Noy. You pick up a great offensive line. Okay, maybe not great, but a solid offensive lineman for New England and Ted Karras. You pick up another Patriots linebacker who's, in my opinion, very underrated, Landon Roberts. And Miami's making moves to go further. It's just, we know in today's NFL, if you don't have the quarterback right, you can't really go anywhere.
Exactly.
And I don't want to say case in point Jimmy Garoppolo, because I like Jimmy Garoppolo. But if they have a guy like a Deshaun Watson, a Kyler Murray, yes, I did just say Kyler Murray in the elite category. Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, a great passer, a super accurate passer, Drew Brees, who can hit that throw that Garoppolo missed to Emmanuel Sanders down the stretch. That's in between winning a Super Bowl and losing a Super Bowl. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to talk about something I saw on Twitter this week, because God forbid there's ever not controversy on Twitter. I want to talk about what the worst MCU film of all time is, because I know we got 4 crazy MCU buffs in the quote-unquote chat room. And I want to get your opinion on this, because it really, I felt like, boiled down to 2 or 3. But I don't know that we're going to agree on this. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get into it. Welcome back to the 202 Show. I'm your host, Ryan Saber, with my boys, Sean Corcoran, Matt Berentsen, and Andrew Greenblatt. I want to talk about something I saw on Twitter this week, and it was basically a battle royale between MCU fans, and it got pretty heated and pretty nasty because, well, all things on Twitter do. Basically coming down to what is the worst MCU film, Marvel Cinematic Universe film produced by Disney. Of course, if it was all Marvel films, I would probably argue X-Men Origins Wolverine, but we won't go there. So.
Wait, ooh. Okay.
All right.
I would disagree.
We'll see. The 2 films that I think were the most talked about, and the one that was actually on trending was Iron Man 3. And the one everyone was comparing it to and the 2 things it was compared to was Thor: The Dark World and The Incredible Hulk. And those were kind of what I felt like were the bottom 3. Now, I immediately posted my list to Twitter, and we're going to talk about that right now because you guys know how much I love doing lists. And I really want to know what you guys think, because it did seem like there was consensus, and I know I have an opinion on which one I think is worse than others, but let's see what you guys think. So, Greenblatt, if you want to take the lead on this.
Thor 2 or Incredible Hulk. Either or.
Okay.
I mean, I'm iffy on Incredible Hulk because it has Tim Roth in it, and love Tim Roth because I love Tarantino. But, I mean, Tim Roth was... Thor 2 is such a god-awful movie. It is. And comparing it to Iron Man 3 is completely unfair. I think Iron Man 3 is a lot better than people make it out. Because it wasn't a flashy movie.
It was a flashy movie.
Not all of it. There's a lot of shit with PTSD involved, and it just. I think
they had fireworks at the end.
Yeah, that's at the end, but I'm talking. Never mind.
Okay, Sean, thoughts?
I thought Thor 2 was the worst movie. Whenever I usually will watch, I always notice those movies are always on FX or whatever. And I'll usually sit through and watch most of them. Whenever Thor 2 comes on, I'll change the channel. It's just that movie. I really did not think it was a good movie. The whole plot was just bizarre.
I agree. In terms of Malekith, the Dark Elves, and entirely the red Infinity Stone being a giant giant red space goo that finds its way into Natalie
I
Portman.
was about to say, yeah.
It was definitely a weird film. And traveling back to Asgard, I thought was a cool idea to bring Natalie Portman, a human, to Asgard, but also... Matt, what are your thoughts?
Well, obviously it's Captain Marvel because why would we want a woman protect? No, no. Straight up Thor 2. It's the only movie as far as the MCU goes that I can't sit through.
Really can't sit through it.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, I get distracted, I get bored. I remember seeing it in theaters and being like, "Wow, this was upsetting," and it just kind of sticks.
Okay, so I agree. I don't like Thor 2. I don't think it was a great film all around. I don't think it was a good film all around. I thought Chris Hemsworth's acting was not terrible. Natalie Portman it was a little bit better in terms of space hair this time when she goes to Asgard. But it's still not... The problem with Natalie Portman portraying Jane Foster to me is she doesn't seem like badass enough, if that makes sense.
That's fair.
Jane Foster, of course, becomes Thor in the comic books, but we're totally going to see in the next Thor movie next month. Not next month. Wow, not even close. Is it even next year, or is it 2 years at this point?
March of 2021, I think.
March of 2021. So
that sounds about right.
Just about a year from now, what kind of Thor Natalie Portman can portray. But let me throw a curveball at you with what is, in my personal opinion, the worst MCU film, and that is Iron Man 2.
It's not the worst.
Yes, it is. In my opinion.
It's not.
In my opinion.
It's fun to watch, though.
Dude, that was just... But in terms of the standards that we have today...
Incredible Hulk.
I liked Incredible Hulk.
Me too, to be honest.
Tim Roth was a cool Abomination. I liked Tim Roth as the Abomination. I thought Incredible Hulk was well done. I liked Edward Norton as a Hulk. I kind of wish he kept him, but I prefer Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, I was about to say the same.
Would have rather had Mark Ruffalo do his own film. But regardless, I liked Incredible Hulk. I genuinely did not like Iron Man 2.
I can see where you're going. I thought it was probably the weaker of the Iron Man series. I wouldn't say I hated it as much as you do, but I would put it near my favorites. I can tell you that.
Okay, I
hated Mickey Rourke, by the way, in that movie.
That's
oh my
the thing.
God.
I hated Russian.
I never understood it.
I did not like Russian Mickey Rourke.
That
was my biggest issue.
That was
Mickey Rourke, who was clearly not a Russian, trying to do a Russian accent with Justin Hammer and played by Sam Rockwell, who I thought was
awesome.
Okay. No, I liked him. Awesome. I did like Sam Rockwell as Justin.
I think he was a great Justin Hammer.
Yeah, I liked him.
The thing with Justin Hammer is that he's an annoying character.
He did a good job at that.
He did a good job with that. Yeah. He played him perfectly. He's an annoying ass character, and he did a great job portraying that.
No, and I agree. It was just I didn't love the way it all came together. I liked the flashiness. I liked the color of it, but I was bored. And for me to be bored in an MCU film, I was genuinely bored. And I specifically remember being 2010, 14 years old, walking out of the movie theater going, okay.
I mean, I loved it when I was a kid. Just because, also that final battle scene is pretty awesome. I liked it.
Yeah.
I feel like it just hasn't aged well.
I mean, I waited years and years to see Iron Man and War Machine fight back to back with each other.
That was pretty cool.
That was
first of all, we all did. But from the time Iron Man 1 came out to the time Iron Man 2 came out...
We've also got to keep in mind, like, when this movie came out, that was, like, a high standard of, like effects and shit when it came out.
Yes, in terms of effects, yes, but there's more
the story was awful. The story was awful, 100%. I mean, I did love the stuff, like, with him figuring out, like, the atom, like, when he was coming up with a new element. I love that part. I know not many people do, but like it was just satisfying to watch.
No, I get that. So we have 3 Thor the Dark Worlds and 1 Iron Man 2. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to play the first ever draft game on the 202 show. So stick with us. Welcome back to the 202 show. I'm your host, Ryan Saber. It is time for the first ever 202 draft. Basically, this game works just like the NFL draft, NBA draft, MLB draft, or your local fantasy draft. We all take turns picking a player, actor, celebrity, or whatever fits the category. And at the end, we see our teams of 3 and argue who has the best lineup. So today's category is going to be the best portrayals of supervillains by any actor, any actress in TV, movies, or animation. No, let's not do animation. That'll get weird. Let's just do TV and
movies.
movies.
Get weird. Anime.
So, Sean, you have the inaugural first pick. Best performance of a supervillain by any actor or actress.
So I picked Tom Hiddleston from the MCU playing Loki. I figure just because Loki's kind of screws with your mind a little bit. It's like you kind of think he might be good, then he'll find a way to rip out your heart and just be a complete badass. And then he goes back to being good, so it's kind of like, what is he not? And then the way he died at the end of it wasn't Civil War,
it was the beginning of Infinity War.
There's so many of them. He got killed. He got killed at the beginning of it, and you're going like, oh, this has got to be a trick because he can disappear and all that. And then, I mean, you've seen the movie, so you know where I'm going with this.
And Thanos says no more resurrections, or no resurrections this time.
Yeah.
Matt, second pick.
Oof, all right. I'm going to go with a controversial pick.
Okay.
Antron.
Hang on, you're stuttering. You got to do that again?
Sure. We good?
Yeah, you're good.
I'm going to go with a more controversial pick, and that's James Spader as Ultron. Great.
Ooh. I don't
I didn't even think of that one.
It's like he's like fucking great villain. His writing wasn't
villain,
great, but
great actor in a bad movie.
Oh, I love him as an actor. He's amazing.
James Spader is the fucking best.
Robot California?
Robot California, baby.
Robot California, baby. Yeah, I definitely liked Ultron, and I even liked that movie. It wasn't a great movie. It wasn't anywhere close to the other 3 Avengers movies.
It's watchable, though.
It's watchable. It's entertaining. I definitely like James Spader as Ultron.
Yeah.
Greenblatt, third pick to you.
I mean, I think I gotta go Heath Ledger.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I mean, it was either Heath Ledger or fucking Josh Brolin.
All right, you gotta kill the F-bombs a little bit.
Yeah.
But continue.
Didn't realize this is family friendly.
Heath Ledger, go.
I just think he was a scary dude.
Oh yeah.
Dark Knight is one of the greatest Batman movies of all time, one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, mainly because of Heath Ledger. His performance as the Joker was, I mean, he won the Oscar for it for a good reason.
Can I say picking Heath Ledger for the first round or for your first pick is the equivalent to like picking a quarterback? like it's just like going like, you know what, Tom Brady.
I mean, it's just this performance. I mean, if we were going like power base, I would have other options. But if we're going like we're going with best performances.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
first of all, in our fantasy league last year, I was the one who picked the quarterback first round, and I was
Patty
actually
Mahomes.
very happy with it. Patty Mahomes, baby. I did not think this was going to be available in my first pick, considering it's number 4. And I think Greenblatt mentioned it, and I'm unfortunately going to take the obvious one, and that's Josh Brolin as Thanos. I don't think Disney could have picked this villain any better. Josh Brolin just being so stern and so...
He's a really good actor.
Terrifying and intimidating. And he's not intimidating in the sense where he's like screaming at you and threatening you. He doesn't have to raise his voice. It's the calmness and the confidence in the way he talks. And also the fact that he beat the crap out of the Hulk in the first 5 minutes.
He scared the Hulk into coming back out.
Yeah, it
That's how
was
bad it was. Yeah.
Josh Brolin, man. Everybody gives so much credit to Robert Downey Jr. for Avengers Endgame. Josh Brolin just knocked it out of the park.
Oh, absolutely.
And honest to God, this is kind of a no-brainer for me for the first pick.
Yeah.
So, Sean, it's going back to you. Your second pick so far in the first round off the board. We have Loki, Ultron, Heath Ledger, Joker, and Thanos.
I don't know if this one will count, but I was gonna go with Joaquin Phoenix as Joker, considering what he turns into. I mean, I still think Heath Ledger's still the best Joker, but man, Joaquin Phoenix made a great, makes it interesting because I feel like it just shows how the villain is made, like how he would kind of force into just being complete psycho, and he was just so good at playing him. He won an Oscar for it too, so it's like he was.
Oscar.
Yeah, he was just incredible.
Real quick, am I the only person who hasn't seen Joker?
Excuse me?
I didn't want to see it. I didn't really have an interest in seeing it.
It was a weird movie, but it was well done. It was just a good movie.
I've watched it 4 times now.
I don't
okay,
have
I'm
an
not
interest
that
in,
crazy.
Yeah.
I don't have an interest in watching it.
Dude, I watched that movie 4 times and I've read the screenplay. It's a great movie.
It's incredible.
Okay. So, in my opinion, I think what separates the Heath Ledger Joker and the Jared Leto Joker is the Jared Leto Joker is definitely more of an independent Joker, whereas Heath Ledger does feel a little bit more pulled from the comic books.
What do you mean, Joaquin?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I would not pick Jared Leto's Joker.
Yes, I'm
No.
sorry. Jared Leto's Joker was the angry juggalo. So we're gonna not that one. The difference between Heath Ledger's Joker and Joaquin's Joker was that, like I said, Heath Ledger's Joker I felt like had a little bit more of a comic background in it. Now, granted,
definitely.
that was because he's in a Batman film.
Yeah.
And as I probably said to Matt a couple thousand times before the Phoenix Joker came out, the Joker independent film came out, is how the hell are they going to do a Joker film without Batman? And then they pulled it off.
They pulled it off pretty good.
Exactly. But it does lack a yin to the yang.
Oh, absolutely. That's what made Heath Ledger so, because he could be the bad guy to Batman. Yeah, he was.
Exactly. He was the perfect antithesis of what Batman was. And as much as I did love Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, it didn't have that antithesis factor.
Oh, I see exactly what you mean.
Not antithesis. Yeah, it is antithesis.
Yeah, I know
sorry.
what you mean. No, it's all good. Yeah,
All right.
That's fair.
Matt, picks to you.
All right. Number 2, I'm gonna have to go with Alfred Molina, Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock.
Okay.
I can see that.
The dude, to this day, Spider-Man 2 is one of the best superhero movies of all time. And
Sam Raimi, man.
And
Yeah.
I think Alfred Molina did a great job just being a likable, interesting bad guy.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. Not everybody remembers about Doc Ock is that Doc Ock's not always a bad guy.
Yeah.
Green Goblin is always a bad guy.
Bad guy.
Carnage is always a bad guy. I could be wrong, but unless there's a book out there I haven't read, Kraven is always a bad guy.
Yeah.
Venom's not always a bad guy.
No.
Doc Ock's not always a bad guy. And that's
Venom
why,
hasn't been a villain in Venom hasn't really been a villain in the last 5-6 years, really.
point made. And the thing is, that's what a lot of people don't understand about Doc Ock is that he's also a mentor to Peter Parker. And that's what I think Alfred Molina did such a good job portraying is the mentor Otto Octavius versus just evil Dr. Octopus. Greenblatt picks to you.
God. Oh. Man, I'm gonna go Killmonger.
Okay, that's not a bad one. That was up on my list.
I know it goes with the cliche of the reverse of that of your villain, but man, Michael B. Jordan helped make that movie as good as it was.
It was so well done.
It was so well done. I'm not gonna lie. The final scene with him and his death scene, I cried a little bit. It was fucking amazingly well done. He was a great villain, easily in the top 5 villains in the MCU. I'm saying it right now. Sorry. I think he's easily a top 5 villain in the MCU. His performance, Michael B. Jordan's a fantastic actor, and his performance in that movie it helped make it as beautiful of a movie as it was.
Yeah, and I don't think you're gonna find very many people who will argue with you on that. Killmonger definitely was not ripped from the comic books directly.
No.
They took a lot of liberties on it. I felt like they more just used the name Killmonger than anything.
Oh yeah.
But oh my god, it was amazing. It was very, very, very well done.
That was a good twist part of the story to make it like, family fighting each other that just adds to it.
Yeah. Okay. I am going to take a sleeper pick here.
I have a feeling you're gonna choose the one I'm gonna choose in round 3.
Really, I don't think I am.
Go for it.
So I'm gonna make a sleeper pick here, and I'm going to pick a supervillain character that borderline has no comic book adaptation of it.
Oh, all right.
Nope. So Prometheus on season 5 of Arrow. Adrian Chase, played by Josh Segarra, was just scary. He was the most intimidating character I've ever seen.
Oh, okay.
The mental games, the mental torture that he put Oliver Queen through, played by Stephen Amell in season 5, was just unlike any movie, TV show I've ever seen. The manipulation, the psychological manipulation that Prometheus had over Arrow, convincing Oliver that he isn't a hero, he's a murderer, and he ruins everybody around him's life. And then to prove it to him, to take him to an island, strand his friends on an island, and then blow the island up while you're threatening to kill his son. Oh my God, it was just amazing. And on top of that, this comes after the worst season of television, in my opinion, ever. And that
Game of Thrones season 8.
Arrow season 4.
Game of Thrones season 8 was much worse.
For sake of argument, comes after the worst season of CW superhero history.
Okay, I'll take that.
Arrow season 4 with Damien Dark, where they basically had a guy with the bow and arrow fighting a guy with magic powers. It just didn't work. You needed a human with no superpowers to counteract Oliver Queen, and you got it, man. Prometheus by Josh Segarra. If Thanos wasn't available, this was going to be my first pick. Man, I love this pick so much. I love this character. I love this actor. I wish they had him in the comic books. I really do. They have a DC villain, Prometheus. It's not the same guy. It's not. So moving back to number 1 in the third pick, Sean, it's your final pick.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Green Goblin from the original Spider-Man. Willem Dafoe.
And he's a great actor.
Great actor, but he's also good at playing complete psychos and villains, and he just did a great job. Like you could tell he was kind of like a bad dude before he became the Green Goblin, and then the Green Goblin just turned him into.
Jesus Christ! What the fuck was that?
I'll cut it out.
Matt.
Was it me? Was it?
No, I think it may have been. Oh no, Matt's muted, so it's not Matt.
No, Matt wouldn't do that on purpose. Sean, just start over. Willem Dafoe. 3, 2, 1.
So Willem Dafoe.
There it is again.
Oh no, it's Sean touching his mic. I think. Or not?
One more time.
Are you guys still hearing that?
Yes. Hang on a second. Yeah, it's definitely Sean because his audio is lighting up, so it's coming from him.
All right. Whatever. Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe just played ridiculous Green Goblin. I thought, he was a bad dude at the beginning of the movie, and then the Green Goblin just turned him into a completely bad, just murderous psychopath. And Willem Dafoe's just a great actor. He's good at playing just psychopaths and not so good dudes.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to pick Willem Dafoe over the Dane DeHaan Green Goblin that I think we all wish didn't exist.
Yeah, that's one
Now,
of my.
hot take, I actually don't hate Spider-Man 2 that much, or Amazing Spider-Man 2 that much,
They weren't
except
bad movies.
for
They
that.
just weren't that good. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that villain was
Except
not
for
good.
that.
Yeah, that was not. No.
All right, Matt, final pick.
So, for me, I guess keeping it on the Spider-Man track, Michael Keaton's Vulture.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think that was an interesting character that he was, Michael Keaton's too likable, which kind of helped in this case because you want to like him and he's kind of got he feels like he's on his only chance of doing something
issues,
by
yeah.
being a bad guy,
Yep.
but it works so well.
Yeah. And I can agree to that. And they made him relatable.
Yeah.
The problem is they made him a guy who loses his job because of external circumstances, who has to provide for his wife and kids, and has to do bad things in order to do so. And granted, I would like to think all of us, if put in that situation, wouldn't become murderers and bank robbers and using technology to hurt people, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Circumstances change things. Greenblatt, final pick.
Oh, I'm stuck between 3 right now.
Okay, well, you got to pick one. And if you pick mine, I'll find you.
All right. I'm going to go with Gene Hackman.
Ooh,
Ooh, that's.
I
going back.
dig it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Lex Luthor, man.
Better than
He played
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yo, we don't speak of that. No. I mean, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. I mean, you just don't get as crazy Lex Luthor plot
No,
as
you
you
don't.
do in the first Superman movie.
No.
New California for beachside property. I just rewatched Superman.
Just short and simple instead of all these complex plans.
It really is.
Just-
Instead of the crazy stuff that Jesse Eisenberg was doing in the most complex superhero movie plot you've ever
Yeah,
seen,
that was brutal.
aside from maybe Watchmen, but we'll leave that alone.
Yeah.
Oh, such a good movie.
Great film.
Show is even better. You have to watch the show if you have not seen the show.
Yeah, but Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor. I love it. I think it was very well done. And I don't think you're ever going to see a Lex Luthor as well done as that.
No.
No.
Kevin Spacey, he was.
No.
I mean, you can't really talk about Kevin Spacey anymore, but.
John Cryer wasn't bad.
I didn't watch any of his appearances.
John Cryer, I actually didn't hate as Lex Luthor. I just wish he was a little bit more physically intimidating.
Oh yeah.
Lex Luthor had.
You're dealing with Alan. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all I can see
Exactly.
with John Cryer is fucking 2.5 Men.
All right, final pick, and this should come as a surprise to absolutely nobody on this panel. And the problem is the character I want to pick actually has 2 actors portraying him,
Oh, I knew this.
Yeah.
and it's very hard for me to pick which one. Of course, I'm talking about The Flash,
Oh,
and
that's
I'm
where I thought you
talking
were going
about
with it all.
Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash.
Oh. I'll be honest, I thought you were going Magneto.
No, but that's a very good one too.
Yeah.
I'm McKellen or Fassbender.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you there.
That's who I was having trouble with.
Eobard Thawne in The Flash is portrayed by 2 actors.
Can we
And
do another round of this?
okay, yeah. And yeah, Matt's like, I'm running out of ideas.
Oh, I've got plenty.
Okay, let me cover mine real quick. So Eobard Thawne is the Flash, or Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash on the CW show The Flash, is portrayed by 2 actors. And if you watch the show, you understand why he's portrayed by 2 actors. There's time traveling involved. There's a weird disguise machine, where he runs back – spoilers if you haven't watched the season from, at this point, 6 years ago. Runs back in time. And, yeah, 6 years ago.
That makes me feel so old.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
Runs
you're
back
the
in
one
time,
that
steals somebody else's body so he could, quote-unquote, be somebody else. And for the first season of the show, he's portrayed by Tom Cavanaugh. Of course, Tom Cavanaugh's played at this point 9 or 10 different characters on the show, and he's probably most known for being the Reverse Flash. And this is well done in the sense that he encapsulates how manipulative and how smart the Reverse Flash is. How the Reverse Flash in the comic books, if you haven't picked up by now, is my favorite supervillain ever, and I don't think it's even close. I think there's another one who, if we do one more round, will be my next pick. But we'll get there in a minute. He encapsulates how smart and how one step ahead of Barry he is in the comic books and just in the character's yin and yang factor. And he really does have just that I'm smarter than you attitude and the confidence that Eobard Thawne does so well. Tom Cavanaugh as the actor is just so out of this world amazing. I think Tom Cavanaugh is one of the most underrated actors in entertainment right now. And the second actor, Tom Cavanaugh plays him in season 1. I think it's just season 1, 4, 5, and 6. The second actor who portrays Eobard Thawne is Matt Lesher. Now, I've seen Matt Lesher in other things. I don't know what specifically he's in, where he's been in for a long period of time. He was in Narcos season 3. He was in a couple episodes of Law and Order. But Matt Lesher plays Eobard Thawne in season 2 of The Flash, season 3 of The Flash, I think. Don't quote me on that. Yes, definitely season 3 of The Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow season 2. And I actually, believe it or not, like Matt Lesher as Eobard Thawne more than I do Tom Cavanaugh. And the reason for that is he plays a more evil character. You get, in my opinion, more of an intimidating, psychotic, hatred-defined character from Matt Lesher than you do Tom Cavanaugh. And not just that, but I think you get the arrogance of Eobard Thawne and at the same time immaturity of Eobard Thawne. And I think he just plays a better yang to Grant Gustin's yin than Tom Cavanaugh does. Now, Tom Cavanaugh and Grant Gustin are great on scene together. I personally think it's better when he plays Harry Wells or any of the other 5 Welleses than the original Eobard Thawne. I personally, like I said, prefer Matt Lesher as Thawne and Tom Cavanaugh's Harrison Wells. Like I said, it's The Flash. It's confusing. But I love this character so much. This character alone, I don't think The Flash would have made it this far in 6 seasons without kicking off with the Reverse Flash and having this get everything started. I just think it's so well done. So through 3 rounds, we have Sean's roster is Tom Hiddleston Loki, Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and Willem Dafoe Green Goblin. Matt's roster is James Spader Ultron, Alfred Molina Doc Ock, and Michael Keaton Vulture. Greenblatt's roster is Heath Ledger Joker, Michael B. Jordan's Eric Killmonger, and Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. And my roster, which pretty much looked about as weird and as indifferent as you can get, and as much as I expected it to, Josh Brolin Thanos, Josh Segarra Prometheus, and Eobard Thawne. Tom Cavanaugh / Matt Lesher, Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash. Do you want to do one more round or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, bonus round, one more. Sean, we'll start with you. What do you got? One more round.
I gotta say, I was torn between 2 people. I almost thought about doing another Joker with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, that's who I was.
That's 2 joke. But I already picked the Joker, so I'm gonna go with Tom Hardy as Bane in Dark Knight Rises. I just love Tom Hardy's a great actor, and Bane was just, he was trying to do it was kind of like the right thing, like to bring the lower man up in a way, but it was obviously ulterior motives, and it turns out he wasn't working alone. If you watch the movie.
Yeah, and
in that voice, come on.
I can't agree with you more. Bane, to me, is the number 2 Batman villain, in my opinion. Sorry. Number 1's the Joker, and it's not even close. Like, the Joker's leaps and bounds ahead of anybody else on the list. He's an entirely different category all by himself. But Bane, to me, is I think Batman's most overlooked villain because he is more recent. To my knowledge, he was only created in the late 80s, early 90s. Or
wasn't an
was his
original
first
guy.
appearance Nightfall?
Yeah, I think
Nightfall
you're
might
right.
have actually been his first appearance. So his first appearance wasn't until the early 90s, whereas you got guys like Two-Face, Riddler, Penguin, Mr.
They've been around
Freeze
since the beginning.
been around
First-
since ever.
First appearance of Bane, Vengeance of Bane, #1, Batman, January 1993.
93. So there you go. So even though Bane hasn't been a recent villain, I still think Bane's probably, in my opinion, he's actually my favorite Batman villain, aside from somebody else
Excluding-
who's my
yeah,
who's
obviously.
a DC villain more than a Batman villain. But I agree. Tom Hardy was really well done. The only issue I had is that Tom Hardy's 5'8", and Bane's supposed to be 6'8".
Yeah, that part, yeah.
But I'll let that slide. Matt, balls to you.
All right, boys. My fourth pick is strictly out of spite for our boy Greenblatt, and that will be Michael Fassbender.
You mother!
This guy.
Oh,
Right?
that's awesome how you did that.
Thank you.
I
I
hate
tried.
you. Well, now I need to find a new pick.
Michael
Thanks a
Fassbender is
lot.
another one of those characters who's just like way too likable to hate.
Yeah.
And he plays
Yeah.
he plays bad so well.
No, he
and-
really does.
Yeah, I mean, when you it's hard.
Oh, I got a pick.
Matt, we lost you.
Oh, I said, it's really hard to follow up Ian McKellen as an actor, and Fassbender totally.
You did a
sucked.
pretty good job, yeah, I would
He
say.
did an amazing job. Like, I can't think of anybody who could have done it better.
Those are awful
absolutely.
movies.
They hit it on the hammer.
Those are
They hit the
awful,
hammer on the head.
awful movies. But it's worth them just except for Dark Phoenix. That's a whole other can of worms.
They're
If
not
it's just
all
for
bad.
his.
I actually disagree.
Yeah, I
I thought Days of Future Past was
No,
the
I'm
best
saying I'm
X-Men
saying
movie.
all of like most of them are bad.
Logan.
But okay, I still have to see Logan. I still haven't seen it yet.
Greenblatt.
Dude, what the hell?
You
No.
arguably have missed out on 2 of the top 5 comic book based movies of all time.
Like, last 10 years, 5 years, let alone
No,
ever.
I mean,
all
I still-
time.
Yeah, exactly.
I still have to see The Godfather. I still have to watch Blade Runner. I only watched The Matrix this year.
All right, Greenblatt, make your next pick so I can kick
All right.
you out.
Can I go with Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort?
No.
How about Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith?
I was
Have
thinking
you
another
seen The
Hugo
Matrix?
Weaving character. Yeah, but he's not a supervillain.
In Agent Smith, yes, he is.
Yeah, okay, but that's the Matrix. That's not a comic
Listen,
book.
I'm struggling to find another pick. Michael Fassbender was my pick.
You literally said Jack Nicholson
know.
2 minutes ago.
I know, but
No, it was Sean.
Sean said that.
No, I ended up going with Bane.
Sean
Well-
took Bane.
I know, but no, he was talking about.
Okay, so you're going to talk about Agent Smith in 3, 2, 1.
I mean, if you've
So-
seen The Matrix, he's the anti-Neo.
Yeah.
Neo he's essentially a combination of Jesus and Superman, pretty much.
Okay,
And-
that's one
Yeah.
way of looking at it.
He is. I mean, they have a lot of religious
Yeah.
things in The Matrix, and they make him out to be Jesus and Superman.
Yeah,
And he is the anti-version of everything. I mean, in the final Matrix movie, he kills Neo. Granted, it's Neo lets it happen,
yeah.
but it's to save the Matrix. And Agent Smith, the guy clones himself, and he's just
No, he's
pure,
a crazy dude. I
He's
agree with
pure
you.
evil.
Crazy is one way of putting it.
And
Yeah,
Hugo
right.
Weaving's just pretty great. as
Good
an
actor, too, yeah.
Yes.
And like I said, I could actually think of another Hugo Weaving supervillain I would put on this
Red
list.
Skull.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I thought it was well done.
oh, I thought he was great.
It's not
yeah.
my pick, though. My pick,
Fair
and
enough.
once again, this should come as a surprise to absolutely no one. And that's probably my other favorite comic book villain ever, period, not even close, is Manu Bennett as Deathstroke in the Arrowverse. Slade Wilson is a bad dude. Slade Wilson is a scary, intimidating dude. And granted, while he might not, in my opinion, scream as much as Manu Bennett was just running around screaming, kind of like Shia LaBeouf in Transformers, in the CW Arrowverse, specifically Arrow. I don't actually think he was in any other show. No, he wasn't. So it was only on CW's Arrow. Manu Bennett just so well done. He was so scary, so intimidating, so strong, and really captured. I don't just want to say how badass Slade was, but how stern Slade was. His moral code, his need for vengeance and his need for revenge. And not just that, but the fact that the Mirakuru drove Slade crazy, and Manu Bennett played a really good crazy person. Like, in terms of just a guy roid raging, I thought it was incredibly well done. I thought the show itself encapsulated how manipulative and how combatively smart Slade Wilson can be and how smart Slade Wilson's supposed to be. And it was just so well done. And then the fact that he comes back to redeem himself at the end of season 5, early season 6. And I think that's the last time we see him is the end of season 6.
Oh, did he? I never watched any of that, so I completely missed most of that.
Okay.
Because I fell off of a lot of those shows.
All right. So, final tally is, Sean, you have Tom Hiddleston, Loki, Joaquin Phoenix, Joker, Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, and Tom Hardy, Bane. Matt, you have James Spader, Ultron, Alfred Molina, Doc Ock, Michael Keaton, Vulture, and Spike Greenblatt, Michael Fassbender, Magneto. Greenblatt, you have Heath Ledger, Joker, Michael, what? I have Killmonger written down, but every time I have to stop and think who it is. Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger, Gene Hackman, Lex Luthor, and Hugo Weaving, Agent Smith. And, of course, I have Josh Brolin, Thanos, Josh Segarra, Prometheus, Tom Cavanaugh, and Matt Lesher, Reverse Flash, and Manu Bennett, Deathstroke. That is going to be our show tonight. Thank you guys for watching. We are going to come back at some point, I promise. We will figure out a schedule after this. I'm Ryan Saber. For all of us here at the 202 Show, have a good night.